Hello, everyone, and welcome back to some more Stationeers tutorials as I fall off the edge of my platform there. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Why did I turn my light on? Today, we're going to pivot a little. I was going to build this up and we were going to go over, adding a room and all that. But there was a comment, or I think there were two or three, about people starting to run short on a few things. And I'm starting to get there myself. I've got more time. Just because I'm familiar with kind of how much time I get in the beginning, resource wise. But you are starting to run short on things. A couple of things you may be running short on are, to start with, oxygen. You may be burning through that oxygen. So we're going to go over today how to get more of it. You may be running low on hydration and water bottles to sate that hydration. You also may be running low on food, but that's what that expansion was for, and we'll go over that in the next one, because there's enough to fill several episodes if I really get in depth with it, but we'll just be basic, but I digress. So you may be running too low on those two things, and you may be running out of filters. Now, filters are the easiest to address. Just turn on your pipe bender, type in filter, and you'll are greeted with a bunch of filters. You see, we have regulars that just cost iron. We have mediums that cost iron, silver, and constantin, which is a tier 1 alloy, created by mixing two different ore types together in your furnace. But future episode for making different ore types or different alloys. But you see, we have carbon dioxide, nitrogen, we have nitrous oxide, we have oxygen, pollutant, volatiles, and water filters. Those are all the ones we need. We use the carbon dioxide in our suit. You may see people use nitrogen in the suit, or you may need to use the nitrogen in your suit. But we'll go over that, whether or not you may or may not want or need that anyways. But today, to address those issues, we need to print off a couple of things to start with. First thing we're going to need is an ice crusher. And that's going to require iron, gold, and copper. Luckily, that's all in our electronic pipe bender here. Gold, copper, iron. You can have the steel back, my friend. That's okay with me. So those things, we're gonna want this ice crusher. Once that ice crusher is done, I'm going to need a pipe. Pipe. We're gonna need some pieces of pipe. First one I'm gonna want is a kit pipe utility gas, not the liquid. We want the gas one. All right. With that kit pipe utility gas and the kit ice crusher, we also need a few, just regular pipes. So type in pipe, not the liquids. We're going to be fine there, trust me. But I do need regular kit pipes. So go ahead and click on those and build away. I'm going to wait for about a stack to build up. These stack up to 20, so I'll see you when we've got our 20. And that is 20. We'll go ahead and turn that off. And before we go inside, let's grab this heavy coil cable and let's go back to our battery, or rather, I should say batteries, because yes, I have added one in between episodes. Get this out of here. I'm going to need the wire cutters to splice into that existing line. I'm going to wire these together, and I'm going to push this cable inside so we have some power to start using. So with those done, go and put those up and pop ourselves inside to start our construction. There we go. Inside. Perfect. Beautiful. We're actually going to go ahead and drink the rest of this water bottle. Pop that down there. Let's go ahead and grab this over here and start cleaning up this space, because we're going to do our work in this little corner right over here of the base. I'm going to go ahead and grab this supply kit for, what is this, hydroponic supplies? Whoops. I'll make some room for you, bud, and I'll push you against the wall. Come on. Just a bit heavy. Crate. There we go. Perfect. Actually, whatever. And then let's move these out of the way. Now, we've been using this oxygen tank to fill up our oxygen canister. Now we can grab it, toss it on there, fills up, put it back in, the normal stuff. But it's getting low. It's not super low just yet for me, but it may be low for you. So do keep in mind and do be aware of how much you have and how much you're breathing. Now, I can throw in my Atmos analyzer into our tablet here. I can right click to turn it on, and we can see in the oxygen tank, we have 2.14 killer moles of oxygen left. And if I actually take my tank off my back, we can see one full-ish bottle contained about 173 moles. So I've got oxygen to last me, a fair little while, but you may have been playing more than I have on this save. You may have been going out, checking out landscape, exploring, doing things. I'm going to put that back in my suit. Gathering more resources, trying to build a larger base than we have here at the moment. So yeah, you may be lower. So I'm going to put that away. And then we have this tank we haven't really used yet, which is our water tank. Now, we can't just fill these bottles out of here. Doesn't work that way. That's for a liquid canister. But liquid canisters are kind of used for something else, and that's the whole different situation. But for us, we're going to kind of ignore those. Now, there's a couple of things. We want to set up our oxygen tank and our water tank. And now what I mean by set up is inside of the hydroponic supplies, there's 2 portable connectors. You can build dedicated just on the ground tanks, but I haven't gone over those resources and gathering them and things, and that's sort of planned in the future for a different episode. So we're just going to use the portable connectors. I know some people don't like them, but yeah, they're not that bad. So I'm just going to plop down 2 of these. I'm just going to do one here, making sure that these ports with the arrows are facing towards this corner, because this is where I'll do my ice crusher and other shenanigans. And then this one going this way. Yeah, like that. Sweet. So even though these arrows, when we had that little image up, were only going in this way, portable connectors, these work both directions. This is not just a one-way network here. This will actually let things out. So whatever we connect up to it is going to be leaving as well. So I'm going to do our water tank here. You just grab your tanks, just sort of haphazardly place them on top of the things, pull out your trusty wrench, look over it, and you see it says connect. Just go ahead and click and hold left click, and it will connect. Now the orientation of these things does dictate which way this gauge is facing, and the little connection piece there, but it doesn't really matter for us. So I don't care all that much about seeing that gauge. If you want the visuals of it, just orientate these a little differently so that you can have that bit of aesthetic. But yeah, none of the functional things work on it anymore. So I can't grab the levers and open them up. So those knobs would normally allow me to spill the oxygen out of this, or whatever gas was in it, into the environment. And this would allow me to dump liquid out. This little lever on the back that's kind of obscured by that pipe now. But yeah, all that's really useful left on these now is the gauge, because you see, I can't put anything there. I can't go over here and drop in my tanks anymore on this to try and fill them. I have to actually use these. The portable connectors, portables connector supersedes any function of the block you attach to it in regards to input, output, and certain other minor functions. There are other things you can connect up to these, but we're not worried about those for now. But for the purpose of the tanks, it will supersede all of the functional controls, quote unquote, that are on the tanks. So just keep that in mind as you go. Now, we're going to start with our beautiful, beautiful ice crusher we just made. Go ahead and put it in your hand, right click it, and you'll see all the stuff. We have the thing up top there on the right hand side is where ice goes in, and then the bits on the back here are where water and gases come out. You see the data connection is in the back and the power connection is in the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and slap this bad boy right there next to our power cable. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and splice that in. Beautiful. No more needs to be done there. Let's go ahead and place that there, and we can start working. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use our pipe utility gas here. You don't need to do it in this order. I'm just trying to free up a little bit of space in my inventory, and you can rotate it. Just make sure you rotate it the right direction. Gas goes in. It has a data connection on the top. It does not need power. This thing itself does not need power. So I'm just going to whack it on the wall there, and we can throw tanks in it to fill. I can connect this up to it and do some other things, but we're going to wait. First thing I want to do is build up our ice crusher. To do so, we're going to need our welding torch, and we're going to need some iron sheets to start with. With the iron sheets in our one hand, welder in the other, go ahead and right click on the welder and weld. And it,
temperature high.
As you saw in the bottom right, spiked. Temperature got really hot, and I also dumped some nastiness in the base that we were avoiding previously. Also heated up the base a little. Not significantly, though, for that small little burst, but it did do a little. And then after that, I believe we need... Was it a wrench? No, any coil cables are required to continue this construction. Okay, whoops, grab the coil cables and just left click. And oh, I could have swore that needed pipes, or yeah, pipes before. Whatever. But yeah, there's our ice crusher. Ore can go in, things will come out. Got data connection for if you want to do some programming, and power. So let's go ahead and start with the water tank. Probably the easier thing to do here, and we're gonna need liquid pipes. Liquid pipes are in here. Let's go ahead and connect these up. Now, there are different pipe types, specifically insulated pipes, and they're more resource intensive to make, but they are perfectly insulated against internal and external temperatures. So if you want a cold thing to stay cold, and if it's an insulated pipe, it will stay cold. If you want it to stay hot in an insulated pipe, it will stay hot. It won't bleed temperature anywhere, except for where it's connected up to other devices. So if it was connected to like this tank isn't insulated, so it will bleed heat. Actually, this tank is acting currently as kind of a thermal battery for this area, being that they're trying to equalize with the area around them. Just happens very slowly because they're not specifically made to that. It's just a function that sort of passively happens. And I should keep building this while I speak. Go there. But why I was talking about that is because where I'm at right now. See, these against this wall, because they're exposed out here, you won't see them outside. So these aren't technically exposed against the outside air. But at these corners, that little bit right there, just that little corner, it does. That does actually expose it to the exterior air, which isn't super great. For right now, on Mars, and for the volumes that I'm working at, not a problem at all. It's good. You're fine. I can grab my tablet here. We can kind of look at it. You see, this water's at 19.7 degrees centigrade. It's fine. I've got 74.8 liters. Cool. Great. You see that little wavy line in the bottom left corner of the oxygen, the one that just disappeared? That was oxygen turning, or oxygen. That was the water turning to gas or steam. You see I've got a little bit in there. We have two H2Os. One's got the little blue at the bottom with the water droplet at the top. That's how much liquid's in there. And the other one is just how much gas is in there. So as you get to, lower and lower pressures, water does turn into gas much more easily. So as I use up the liquid and the pressure, was changing in here, that would turn into gas, or in this case, a cold steam. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to grab my wrench here. Now, just like with the power cables, if you use the wire cutters, you can splice into existing lines. Same thing with pipes. Have your pipes, have your wrench in your other hand, right click with your pipes in your hand, and you can splice into lines. Why am I splicing into that line? Because there's something else I need to add there. And that's going to be this guy, also in your hydroponics supplies, a water bottle filler. Go ahead and right click, and you see we got some stuff here. Now you see my 1 and 2 there kind of faintly in my water droplet on the hollow image here, or whatever we call this. They're upside down for me. There are two states of this you see on the little pop-up there in sort of the right center of the screen. I've got the little scroll wheel thing. I've got 1 and 2. There are 2 variations of this, and they only change orientation. Nothing changes about the function or what it does. It just changes the orientation of the input and the power. Yes, this thing needs power. So I go ahead and slap that down. Beautiful. It's oriented correctly, so you don't have to stare at upside down numbers and water droplets. And as you grab water bottles, let's actually fill this up with 2 empty ones. You don't have to stare at upside down bottles. And actually, you know what? We're here. Let's go ahead and power this in. So I can run power just straight down because we've got it right here with us. Tee it in, and it's good. It's ready to rock and roll. And I mean fully ready to rock and roll. It's already connected up to this. This is put onto here, which means this liquid is actually available to this filler. So 2 empty bottles. Once you got power connected to it, go ahead and flip the switch and watch them fill. Get a lovely little audio and a visual of the bottles filling. And now I've got 2 full water bottles. Beautiful. And I can just keep using up this liquid in here as my source of drinking water, or whatever I wanted to use this water for. Now we can refill it using this ice crusher. We just go out and get some water ice. We'll go grab some a little later to demonstrate that piece. But I can use this water now. So curve the need to go get water, or to, dehydrate to death, whatever that's called. Yeah. Also, I need a little bit of food. So let's go ahead and have a boneless cereal bar. You start with 2 cereal bar boxes, and yeah, each box has quite a few in it, and then you get the bag out of your little drop capsule. So you get a decent amount of food. It's just water you kind of start getting through. So, but we've got 5 full ones that were left before we needed to hook this up, and it's all right. We've got everything for that. So we're good to go. Next thing we want to address, and we can do with the same ice crusher, is going to be our oxygen. Now, let's go ahead and just connect these up. Same thing at the corner here is going to be technically exposed to the outside air, but as little as there, and it's not really going to convect too much of that heat out. So we're going to connect that up, and I'm now going to need my wrench in my hand because I'm a goober. I'm going to connect up this, and I'm going to leave this little patch over here. Whoops, nope, I did want to go up there. I got it. Now these are connected up. Now we can crush oxide, which we actually have a little bit. We can crush oxide and get that oxygen into this tank, and then use this to now fill up our canisters. Now, I'm not just going to stop here. I'm actually going to take this one little bit step further to give you a more refined system. Because if I go ahead and disconnect this, there's enough pipe here to demonstrate this safely. If I disconnect that, let's go ahead and turn on our ice crusher, and I throw in this oxide and let it crush up. I'm going to turn that off. These do have a late power draw of like 10 watts or something. Very low. But once you get a lot of them around, it starts eating into your power. So you don't really need something on. Try and turn it off. Lights in the household situation. But hear that? Crushing up our beautiful oxide. Let's go ahead and grab our tablet and see what's actually being made here. Now, we put in 25 oxide. You can see we have the oxygen there, but there's something else in there. That's something else, nitrogen. Now, humans can breathe nitrogen. Your Stationeer can breathe nitrogen. It's, well, quote, breathe, it's in the air you breathe, that's fine. But nitrogen isn't super great to have in our breathing oxygen, in our breathing air, I'll say air, our breathing air in Stationeers, specifically because we're not filtering for it right now. You see my suit up here, I've got 3 filters. I have a dead filter that, didn't I make an extra CO2 filter? I guess I didn't. But I've got CO2 filters. So my suit is capable of pulling the carbon dioxide I exhale out of my suit, and it dumps that into our waste tank. That's where it gets all that. Some oxygen makes it in there, but it's specifically filtering out the CO2 so I can keep breathing in my suit. I would have to add a nitrogen filter in here if I had nitrogen in my breathing air, like is currently in this pipe network. Not super great for me. Now I'm going to put my tablet away. So we're going to address that, and we're also going to address filling this a little more full or accurately. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my wrench. I'm going to take away a few of these pipe pieces. Actually, if I show you this way, you can see our pipe network has gas in it, has 7.23 megapascals of pressure in it as well. If I remove a piece of this, it's now 8.68. Yes, that gas just does not just disappear, it gets pushed into the rest of the pipe network. So it just shunts it over, basically. Now, that'll keep happening and happening and happening until either A, you remove the last piece of the pipe network, and at that point, yes, that gas will just vanish from the world. It's magic. I just don't think the game's capable of reading it. It doesn't just dump it back out. It just disappears. Or the more likely scenario is you overpressure the pipe network that's left and it fails somewhere, meaning parts of the pipe will break, and that can cause some fairly catastrophic issues if you let it. But for us, we're fairly safe. I can even go all the way to here because there's not a whole ton in there. These pipes should hold up to about 60 megapascals worth of pressure. Obviously, the more pipes you add, the more room there is for that to fill, so you don't have to worry about the pressure as soon. But it is something to keep in mind. All right, so to address these two issues of one, better and more accurately filling our tanks, and two, getting rid of that nitrogen that comes out with that oxide, let's take ourselves back outside and print something that's going to be fairly integral to your Stationeers experience. And back outside with the great sun setting. Turn my suit light back on. I literally just turned it off. Back to the hydraulic pipe bender. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And the thing we're going to want is already here on our screen. If you're at the very top, you just need to scroll down a little or type it in. Atmospherics kit. You want a kit atmospherics. So let's go ahead and print up one of these for now. We'll go over sort of some of the things that happen with it, and we'll go back in. Actually, no, we got a couple of things to print out. Let's print it up, and we'll get the other things. Okay, got the atmospherics kit. We're also going to want a pressure regulator. So if you type in pressure regulator, this is the one I want. Let's go ahead and print up one of these. Takes 5 iron, 1 gold, 2 copper. I just need the one for now. It'll just allow us to do a little more accurate work inside. Got that. And then I need some filters. We need to get rid of that nitrogen. So let's get ourselves a couple of nitrogen filters. Go ahead and click on that. We're going to take 2 of them just because the thing I'm going to use has 2 slots for filters. So there's one. Oops. These do not stack, so as you print these, just keep in mind it's not like it's going to be like, oh, 5 goes into a thing. That battery ran out of power. Uh-oh. Nah, should be fine. All right, let's go inside. The battery is dying. Not great. But yeah. Actually, you know what? No, I actually will leave that in here. I was going to say, let's grab that because I can move that and hook it into this network, and that would let the big batteries that are being charged off the solar charge it, and we would start moving over, but that is whatever. All right, so let's toss our nitrogen filters down. Let's start with the pressure regulator, shall we? Let's start with that one. Let's go ahead and grab our wrench because we want to make some space here, and we're going to put the pressure regulator just here on the ground, I hope. I forget the way. Perfect. Okay, so it does take power. Power comes in from that right-hand side. That's what I wanted to see. There are 4 things the base pressure regulator can do. So it can just work as a regular pressure regulator. It can work as a back pressure regulator. It can work as a pressurant valve, and it can work as a purge valve. All great things, all do fairly specific functions, and some you're gonna want in mass. But pressure regulator is slow for moving volumes of gas, but it will allow me to accurately move a volume of gas. So I'm just gonna place that there. I'm going to grab some extra pipes and tee that in like that. And perfect. So, pressure regulator here. You can turn this valve to change the pressure. It works in increments of 100. It starts on 50 kPa, but works in increments of 100. So you can just do all that shenanigans, or you can grab your labeler. Turn. Is my... Oh, I left the labeler on. It's dead now. God dang it. Can I have my drill? Yeah. Take the battery out of the drill. So, with the labeler on, you can aim at the, not the pressure regulator itself, because that will change its name, which is handy for identifying things on a logic network, like we learned with the solar logic. Or just aim at the valve and click, and I can type in a value for this to do. Now, it sets it in kPa, so mind you, that's what you're setting. So, I want to set this. I want my tanks for my breathing air to pressure up to about 6 megapascals or 6,000 kPa. There we go. Let's go ahead and steal the battery back out of you. Swap you over. Give me the good battery, just in case I need my drill at some point. Put your battery in here, and we'll get another battery charger up later. But yeah, there we go. So that'll set that. I can throw my tank in there. It will try and start filling to that. Actually, I should open my helmet. But it's not going to get anywhere. And, oh, let's actually have a drink of our freshly filled water bottles. Self-sufficiency. Well, sort of. We started with this water. It's not like I made this water. There we go. I just want my bottles to fill up. Perfect. Click that back off. And now for the atmospherics kit. Atmospherics kit's incredibly integral to anything you really want to do for base building wise. And first thing you're greeted with is an air conditioner. Use the scroll wheel. You see we have 5 things to toggle through. So we have an AC, a filtration unit, an electrolyzer, we have an H2 combustor, and a nitrolyzer. We're going to be working today with the filtration unit. You see we have an input and 2 different outputs actually. So if I go ahead and place this down in the center here for a moment, we can actually look at this. We have 2 slots for our filters. We have a connection for data, a connection for power. We have an input. We have a unfiltered, and we have a filtered. Now, we're using the nitrogen filters instead of oxygen filters. We can use oxygen filters and then connect the filtered up to this line, but I'm trying to filter out the nitrogen. Should probably filter for the oxygen just in case I throw in some sort of other shenanigans in there. This will act as a safety buffer, but I already printed up nitrogen filters, so that's what I'm going with. You yourself can actually print your things with oxygen filters and just use the filtered here, but I didn't, so I'm not. Use the drill. I can pick this back up. So I want my unfiltered to go in there, and the rest of the shenanigans to fly out elsewhere. So if I go ahead and slap this here, it'll give me just enough room to work with. Put my drill away, grabbing our kit pipes, aim at your thing. I just built an AC unit. What is wrong with me? Can I not drop that? I built an AC unit. Perfect. It's totally not what you wanted, Greedy. Let's put that away. All right, a filtration. There we go. Wonderful. All right, so wrench in hand. Actually, no. Construct that, and then you need wires and a screwdriver. Seriously? And voila! I've now constructed the filtration unit and not an AC unit. Important. All right, wrench in hand. Let's go ahead and run this. Oh, god dang it. That wasn't the thing I wanted. Let's get some pipes here so I can save what's in there, and we can use it as the demonstration piece. Take this out. I just need a straight. There we go. All right, so that is now connected to this. I can crush ice. It'll go into here, get filtered by this. Now, unfiltered is what I want because I'm only dealing right now with nitrogen and oxygen. Again, I should have made oxygen filters. For some reason, my brain just didn't want to work for whatever reason, which I guess is most of my life, honestly. But that's a conversation for later. So we'll connect that up, and then we're just gonna push it. Oh, actually, we're gonna bring it up so I can run a wire. Actually, can I run a wire there? I might have. Oh, thank God, I can. I can do a wire there. Oh, actually, you know what? We're gonna do this right now, so I don't fuss this up too much. Grab our wire cutters. Let's go ahead and wire our power in for both the filtration unit and for the pressure regulator, shall we? Ah, there we go. Okay, so all those have their things. We are good to go. Let's throw our heavy coil cable back up. Let's throw that back up. Grab our kit pipes. And the kit pipes, I'm just going to run over here. So the filtered stuff, I want to get rid of right now. I don't want the nitrogen. I'm not doing anything with it right now. So we're just going to send it up the wall. And I'll get a passive vent to tag on right there from the outside. So for now, we're good with that. But there's enough volume in this little network for me to demonstrate the functions of this. So, actually, I'm going to waste a little bit of air here. So, grab my air tank. I'm just going to open it up and dump all the air out, right? I've only got 64 kPa left in here. That's not a lot. So, if I toss it in here, you see it jumps up a little because there was some pressure in this pipe, but it's not at the 6,000 I want it to be at. Now, this pipe network has access to the oxygen in here. Go ahead and grab our tablet. We can see the oxygen. It is in this pipe network, which means this pressure regulator has access to it. Turn it on and watch it go. Watch it. Pipe network. Why does that oxygen canister have a bunch of... Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah. What? Where did all that come from? Because it's not in this pipe network. I must have accidentally got some nastiness in there. But I've only been filling it off of you. What did I do? How did you get in there? You're 100% not supposed to be in there. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just going to dump this back into the room here. Oh, actually, turn you off because you're just still trying to push oxygen in there. I'm going to fill this up. Not super great for breathing, but I'm going to put that there. And we're going to fix this real quick because you may also run into this issue, so I'm not going to cut this out. I've got to put my tools back in the right place. So if you get your wrench, you can just... Oh, you can just wrench off your pipes, and all that gas is gone. For good measure, I'll take that off as well. I don't need to, but just, once again, good measure. I'm going to slap that back. This is a clear network now. I don't know how I got shenanigans in here, but it is what it is. I'm going to throw that on my thing, because we're going to go, because we don't want to use this pipe, this canister anymore. It's full of nasties. Oh, because I opened it and dumped it into this room, and this room had nasties in it. Oh, okay, then it... All right, I see where I went wrong. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. All right, turn that on, and we see that network's empty. The room has those nasties in it that got into my thing. I'm going to go ahead and throw it here, and we're going to step outside for a second and get ourselves a different canister. Close my helmet, cycle, and you'll see that I'm still able to breathe, even sort of this polluted air that I have, quote-unquote polluted, because it's primarily oxygen and CO2 right now. The CO2 can be filtered out of my suit. That's fine. We have the filters for that. We just don't have the other things. Let's go ahead and get ourselves Oh, what do I need? A canister. So you see we got canisters here. Let's go ahead and make one. It's going to be yellow. Not great, but I mean, that's nothing I can do about that. So I have a brand new, completely empty canister. Well, I mean, there are things I can do about it. You can make spray paint. I just don't have spray paint right now. That's what I'm getting at. And then I don't. Oh, I've got 1% left. Whew, that's not great. Never mind. Oh no, leave my light on. It's good for the video. And use the rest of that coal. This should be the last time we have to burn coal in there. I've just been really procrastinating on linking into our new network. Actually, we're out here. Let's take a gander at that. I really should stay on top. Oh, yeah. See, we're producing more power than we're using. I love the look of that. Green and blue lights. All right, let's go back inside. Here we are. Open my stupid helmet back up. And we know this network is empty, right? Empty pipe network. Nothing here. That's the room. Your only oxygen. And if I drop that out, empty canister. So, toss the canister in there. It's got nothing because there's nothing in there. This pipe network only has oxygen in it. I can turn this on, and it will start filling this up until this network plus this canister has 6,000 kPa or 6 megapascals in it. So that will be our new the oxygen canister, and this nonsense can stay over there because I'm a silly. There are ways to empty out these tanks entirely. I could do one of these, just the other way around and draw all the nonsense out of here. But we'll go over how to clean up tanks and things later. So I can now demonstrate how this is going to work. This has nothing in it. Wait, nothing in it. Did I use this already? No. Huh. All right, I'm turning you back on. This will start pushing. Oh, I must have destroyed all the gas. Whatever. There's still enough here to demonstrate. So you see that we have stuff here. It's all in here. We have the nitrogen and the oxygen. So we're filtering out the nitrogen. So the filtration unit is going to push all the filtered stuff into here, which is going to be our nitrogen, and everything else currently for us is only oxygen, so it'll go here. Click this bad boy on and watch it filter. You see oxygen is now rising in here, and nitrogen is all going into here. And I'm getting none of the nitrogen into my breathable air, which means I don't need to put a nitrogen filter in my suit. I can just stick with these straight CO2 filters. Now, if you don't have the resources to build this, you should be able to get 5 iron to make a nitrogen filter. Just whack it in any slot in your filtrations, and you'll be good to go. You can just breathe the oxide. So toss it in, crush it up, fill your tank. Beautiful, good to go. Oh, and look at that, 6 megapascals in the tank. Oh, look at that. Love to see the breathable air. This will now, have that at 6 megapascals. I can leave this on, set and forget. It will draw power, but I'm producing more than I'm using, so not a problem. Beautiful. And last thing we're going to do is we're going to go grab a passive vent because we want this to not explode in our face violently by overpressurizing it. Also, I'm going to, we'll leave it on. That'll take a little bit to filter through what's left of the gas here. So yeah, let's go get ourselves a passive vent and whack it on so we can get rid of that nitrogen. All right, get my passive vent. Go ahead and right click. We can get this thing here. I can go here. Yep, there it is. That's our connection. And bam. You see the little air displacement lines? That's all that nitrogen evacuating that line. So that line will now be, well, infected with the Martian atmosphere, but I can just keep dumping all of that filtered nitrogen out into the world. There are later uses for it, but for us at the moment, it does not matter. So we're just going to get rid of it. And that's it. This has been a bit of a longer episode just because we had a few key integral systems and I didn't want to segregate kind of the ice crusher bit of getting oxygen when it can also be used to get the water. Water just puts out into the to the liquid pipe, and it would just go straight into our yeah, straight into our water can there, and water bottle filler. So I figured we had all the parts, combine the two. A little bit of a longer episode, but I hope it was still informative for you all. And is this oxide or is this water ice? I think this is oxide.
Power low.
Right? Yeah, oxide. Water ice is a little similar. It's a bit cleaner blue. If I see, oh, okay. There's a hole here. Don't fall into holes, people. It's usually not good for your health. But yeah, that is it. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it off here. Look, blue, and we're doing things inside. Ah, yeah, we're producing that power. But that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope it was informative. I hope it was helpful. I hope you're all surviving out there and staying safe. And do that. Remember, until the next one, to stay safe out there.